Welcome to Ascend Academy. Tonight we are talking about working your business and a full-time job. And so Billy's going to share with us because she is perfect for this. She has a really demanding job, very time intensive and a crazy life. And she's a rock star with her Scentsy business. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Karen. It's so good to see you tonight and want to hug. We all want to hug you. Thank you so much, guys. And I was telling Hannah today that I haven't been on a lot of the night Zooms, so I apologize. Some of you may not know me at all, but my name is Billy Gallion. I'm a director, the director of Happy Scentland. That's the name of my team. And you'll know a little bit as you get to know me why that's our name. I am excited to talk about this. I volunteered mostly because it's my challenge. Sometimes when I give a talk or I talk about something, it helps if it's my own struggle. And so I'd love to see hands. If you have to work another job besides Scentsy, raise your hand. Yes, I bet a lot of you do. And I was interested, I didn't get to get the statistic, but I would bet that a lot of Scentsy consultants work another job, if not jobs. Or I also want to include moms, like there's a lot of parents, and you guys know it's a full-time job being a parent. So as I said, my name is Billy. I am a director, and I'm excited just to be on here. But I'm also a pediatrician. I'm a full-time pediatrician. I started practicing in 2001, and I live in a rural area in Kentucky. So it's a big, intense job. I have a funny story about how I joined. And it's weird for me because I don't even know who all is on here or watching, but I did not know what Scentsy was in 2019. I've been a stepmom since 2007, and I wanted to support my boy's mom. My boy's mom sold Scentsy, and I didn't know what it was. I don't know why I thought it was like stickers or lotion or something. So she was sharing her website, and I didn't even tell her I was going on there. I went on and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this beautiful mosaic butterfly. It's called the Flyaway Warmer. And I got 3 bars of wax, didn't know about bundling, bought them 1, 2, 3. And then it came, it was in the summer. It was beautifully packaged. It had cold ice packs in there. The quality was great. And I fell in love. And pretty soon I was having to plan and limit my wax purchases. I was just like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? So in September of 2019, there was a join special for $15. And it was September 27th. And earlier that month, my daughter-in-law joined under my boy's mom. And so I joined under her. And that's how it started. And that just goes to show that these small kits can produce leaders, because it hit something in me very almost like in the brain, as far as the scent, the memory, the beauty, and the contrast of how happy Scentsy is compared to some of the horrors I have seen through my work. I love my work. I have babies, lots of beautiful children, beautiful happy days, but some intense, really horrifying memories as well. So you guys know it's powerful, but I also had to figure out a way to do it while I was working or in around life. Now, for each of you, you're in different places in life. I know for me and my life place, we had just had one of our boys graduate from high school, and we were band parents. So we were really busy before that. And so this filled that void of not doing band anymore. But it also made me happy. It made me smile. It gave me joy. Um, and since then, we've grown. We have 130 people in my group slash team. And we've had director numbers for 21 months in a row. And my husband, yeah, 21 months, almost 2 years. And my husband and I were able to go for free to Colorado Springs in May on the incentive for both of us. And we just earned 2 tickets to Alaska on Royal Caribbean. We've never taken a cruise. So it's huge. It's like, how in the world do you do that and work full time and have all these expectations? So actually, Scentsy keeps me sane. How many of you would raise your hand if Scentsy keeps you sane, like in the midst of the madness? So, creative weaving, that's the phrase I wrote down as the way it works in a full time life. Obviously, I just turned 50 last month, and I would love to retire right now. Even though I love my kids, it's so intense. But right now, we don't. My job pays our mortgage. It's how we have full health insurance. My husband's a pastor, so we're not quite ready for that. So you weave it into your life. Um, so I always challenge people, you think you may not have time, but actually the busiest people sometimes make the best consultants because you look at all those little pockets of time and sometimes they're small. Sometimes it's when your kids are asleep. For me, it's in the mornings when it's quiet, there's less distractions. It's just me and my dogs. I get up before my husband, our 21-year-old, moved back in with us, and it's the morning. It's also lunch break. It's also during Saturdays. So John and I have kind of a rhythm, like you develop a rhythm of life where you weave it into your life. Because we're not in bands, Saturday mornings, we're not at band shows. John loves to do his thing on Saturdays and I go deliver. I'm like a milkman. I'm out there. I put down the mileage for local orders. I love it, spreading that joy. I have visited slum areas, huge houses where they bought one bar or a trailer that looks like it's barely standing. And that's part of my joy because it also puts me in the community in a non doctor way. So it's really, really cool. So weaving it through, and you can find that in your life. Often, I have found we may waste time that we don't realize. Thank you, Amanda. It's so true. Like scrolling, Netflixing, and binging, whereas I could be having cubes like tonight. I got home. I do a team live on Tuesdays. It's just 30 minutes. But I put, look at the rainbow. The rainbow bars came, so they're already in the process of being made into felts for the mail. Like weaving it into your life, plopping. I used to use a candy melter, and now I love the Make a Scene warmer because it really goes warm, and it's just like boom, my cubes are melted. So weaving it into life, but getting that out there for people to smell. Preach it. Thanks. Um, I started with home parties too. I love the home party, and I'm so thankful that we're starting now to get out more. Um, just at our church recently, aren't always wearing masks now. So it's such a blessing. And I finally have some in person events this spring. So finding that rhythm. Now, for you, you may not be able to be gone from your home, but that's the beauty of our business. We can do it online. I try to do a party a week and focus in on that host, but sometimes we go longer, but just finding a way to weave it in. So I wrote down not only creative weaving, but create habits. So those rhythms become habits. Now that we have a team, it's a whole new challenge. Like, how do I help them and cheer them on? And so, if you are a director, I would encourage you, if you ever get invited to do ACL, to do it. I'm doing a second round and it's been so good, even a second time, because I love Jason Harwood. He's doing it this time. And anything you can do to push yourself, it helps me. And you kind of have to learn yourself. I'm an Enneagram 8. I had never I can't wait to look at y'all's comments because I see them. Um, I love to have a job. And so when someone says you've got to get this much PRV and then we have this incentive, I would love, I know it sounds silly, but I want the streaming kit and I just got it. And actually Caitlin's on here. I encouraged her to be on here. I think that's who just commented and she got certified. So little ways to get habits into life. So I pick one at a time. Try not to get overwhelmed. So as a full-time person, it's easy to get overwhelmed. And I do when I see so many beautiful ideas, beautiful labels with people's pictures and a QR code, and I don't have it over here, but here I am with a Sharpie and a sticker. Like you just have to do what you can do. And I call it the ugly hustle. Sometimes it's just ugly. Sometimes you just got to get the samples out the door or get the messages. So I've been working on T-mail is my habit I'm working on. So make it small enough where you can do that one thing at a time. Um, so rhythm of life, and also Heather Ray's on here. She's my SSD. She's almost basically become my buddy, my best friend, and she is my mentor and coach. So finding community. So I told you I joined under my daughter-in-law, and then she was under my boy's mom. I have rolled up twice. So sometimes who you start with is not who you end with. So you reach up or around to who you need to be. Karen has like adopted us, and I love that, just having these leadership opportunities here. So, other rhythms, I would encourage you to always check your own news tab. I'm fortunate because Heather Ray is really fast on that. So it's beautifully done. Our sweet mama Karen, that's right, because we need you guys as a community. And where Heather and I are completely different. Where I'm one way, I'm a fruity and she's a magnolia linen, like we match each other. So getting though in the habit and modeling after your leaders. So the other point I wrote is, and it's not going to sound popular, is sacrifice. So I talked about creative weaving, create habits, but also sacrifice. So what do we sacrifice? Don't sacrifice excellent excellence in your current other job. So when I first started, I was kind of wacky. I was like, dude, I really want a trip. And I had watched Jennifer Anderson, and man, she is no bones about it. She's like, you have no business getting 500 a month if you want Disney World or whatever it is. So I was like pushing for annual sales. So I was doing so much, I was pushing it into work where I was creating samples on the side in my office, and people at work are like, "Ooh, what is that?" So you have to be careful to still be winsome in your workplace. What does that mean? Not cheating on your work. Because, like, so if we have a queue, I do it on my lunch break. But it may mean if you don't have the ability to get on your phone at work, or I mean, I've heard of people doing a queue in the bathroom, but it may mean having a trusted person, whether it's a spouse or a really trusted person to help you with releases, because we all know they don't always give us time off for a cue, you know what I'm saying, a release. So weaving that into life, but the sacrifice would be the junk. Like I feel like I spent too much time scrolling. And I even thought about that. Like I have friends that do direct sales in other companies, and I just love looking. And then I thought, while I'm looking, I bet people would be looking at my things if I shared them. So I've been really pushing. If Heather's on here, I think she is. She knows I wasn't good at Instagram, and I'm just finally, I'm like, okay, I've got to put my story on. And I've tried to make a few reels. So, like your comfort zone. So, we sacrifice our comfort zone. Don't sacrifice your quality. You want to be winsome at your workplace because that's building your your vibe, because now I don't take advantage. Like, say a child comes in with an ear infection, I'm not going to tell the mom about Dumbo. That would be unethical, and actually it's offensive. Let's be winsome. I do work with my staff now. Like, I have a fragrance flower out because it's a small, because I have some people who don't like a lot of scent, but it draws people in. They can ask me anytime they want to. I have had people at the end of the visit say, "Are you doing that still? Could I have a catalog?" Like, so it's winsome, but it's woven into life in a way that my employer is not going to like be upset about it. So, um, I also, out of the comfort zone is time and working with people that we may not always know well. Like, I love and have to do parties. I know not all of you do, but if I look at my team, most of them are through relationships made through parties. Some of my leaders are lengths of friendships that they link together. The very first on our team was my very first home party. At that home party, there were two more that joined. At their home parties, there were more that joined. And yes, Kelly, it is so true. Think sometimes we get away from that because we've been in a pandemic world about relationships. And I'll have to read Crystal's comment about leaving samples at work. Yes, forgetting things, like people love to smell. So I do slice wax now because I was bringing a candy warmer and it's a massive amount of wax. But if I slice wax, people can see it and ask about it. Um, the other thing I want to be is flexible. So that would be my other point, besides being creative weaving, sacrificing some of the things that don't matter, but being flexible in the process. We do hear the phrase or the word pivot, and it's really true. Being adaptable and pivoting is key when you're working a job, because you just, time change may happen, illness may happen, things, you have to go with your energy as well. Like, you might not be a morning person, but you're a night person. Finding those ways to weave it in, but also keeping priorities and really looking at the income producing activities. So, when you're a full time job, I would love to have more. I have goals. Like I just told Heather Ray today, I have not started Project Broadcast yet. That's one of my goals. But I have to look at my IPA, recruiting, coaching, PRV, recruiting, coaching, PRV. It's in my mind all the time. Right now, I have a link. Yes, adapt to follow your business. Yes, Caitlin, adapt, because I have a link right now that's 500 and it is burning in me that there's a host kit there. And that is the priority. Like, just keep it in your brain, because I could be at work like today. We had, now I'm kind of flexible because I'm a doctor and I know this won't work for everyone, but I had a no-show, and so no one's to say I can't send emails. And I like telling people, hey, we have a no out of pocket cost host kit, and people really don't believe it, but I select that. I keep lists. I keep them in my phone and iPad, so they're everywhere, of the no not nows. And it's amazing. Like, Madison on my team joined, and I asked her 11 months ago. That just happened this week. So pivot and adapt, work with what you have. And really, it hones your character, because Scentsy is core values: simplicity, generosity, and authenticity, being real and being simple. Because all the other things look so beautiful and maybe they're great, but make sure we get the recruiting, the coaching, and the PRV. PRV, I get it through parties and my own links, LTOs. Don't forget the catalog. And then at the end of this, I know I'm getting close. My next point is to build margin in your life. So I posted a picture of a squirrel that was from my bird feeder at work. And my nurse took the picture at just the right time. And the squirrel is stretched from two ends, trying to get to the bird seed. Its foot is on one thing and its body is all stretched. And that's how we feel when we're in multiple jobs and we have kids. But we need margin. What is margin? So I have my notes on this paper. When you do a paper, there's space around the text. That is margin. That's what it takes to make a readable document. It makes our eyes see it. There's space. If my text went all the way to the edge, I would be so overwhelmed. I'm kind of like one of those non-diagnosed ADHDers, sort of, and it would freak me out just like it does when I see things that are complicated, right? But we need margin, and margin is the space in our life. So for me, as I'm a Christian, but hey, you don't have to be a Christian to observe Sabbath, rest. So for me, a lot of my team knows that Sunday, because this is pastor time, like it would be tempting for me to sell Scentsy all over the church. But again, how, to me, ethics, like I'm thinking Jesus first. That's the time of worship, rest. I usually really, and I know y'all moms don't get these, but I love to take a nap on Sunday. And it's like my brain just lets go. Now, I'm kind of bad at Sabbath. So usually around 5 is when my brain starts preparing for Scentsy week. So I love that because Sunday nights, my husband loves sports. So I have a corner of the couch and it's just like my little area. Sports are on and it's getting mail. I love doing snail mail Sunday nights, whether it's team or customers. And that way Monday starts off with a positive, the mailbox is full of mail, but you find your rhythm that works for you. But my margin is the rest. And we're talking weekly, sometimes daily, whether it's your time in your quiet time. At night, I do track my numbers every day, but it's like my peace. And then I just let my mind wander. I also love in our marriage, we do some marriage counseling sometimes with John's being a pastor. And in marriage, they say to die daily, date weekly, and depart quarterly. And in life, it's like that. We hustle daily, but every week take that time to rest. And I love the idea of a quarterly travel if you can, whether it's a retreat, whether it's something. Um, but so getting that Sabbath and the margin of space, it could be taking a bath after the kids go to bed, whatever works for you. So in the end, the summary is this builds an organism. You know, SFR, yes, Caitlin. So Caitlin just joined me and she just not only promoted, she recruited her first teammate. She has 2 children, one of whom takes a lot of time. Would you mind repeating the MA? I'll look at that comment. I'm gonna put your chat up here so I can see it, guys. Repeating, yes, we'll look through those. I love questions, but it builds an organism. And what is that organism? I was looking, March 2020, I had 8 people. March 21, I had 56 people. March 2022, we have 130 people. Now, not all of those people are active, right? But it's an organism. It's a breathing, living group of people that God built. And I'm just amazed, you know, my kit was this big in a little box. And that's what can happen when you add these different principles. So to repeat that, creative weaving through your life with habits, sacrificing where necessary, but keeping quality in your relationships. And that's about your priorities and your job, being flexible and adaptable, build margin. And there's a great book about margin. I think it's Dr. Richard Swenson. It's a great book. And then in the end, you build really, I mean, people call it an empire. I always feel like weird saying that because we're Star Wars fans. I don't want to sound like I'm from the dark side, but it gets big. So thank you guys. Let me see some of y'all's questions. Anybody want to speak up to?
That was super great. Hey, what's the name of that author? What's
Swenson. Let me see if I can put it in there. It would be good for a book club. It's called Margin. By the way, I love James Clear. Oh my gosh. I know the book club's doing that now. Make sure I'm saying that right. Margin. Here it is. Richard Swenson, Margin, Restoring Emotional, Physical, Financial, and Time Reserves to Overloaded Lives. Do y'all feel overloaded? Yes, that's a dumb question, right? So let's see, guys. I forgot, Crystal says, I forgot some samples at work and my store manager found them. He stopped me and asked for samples, which led to an order. Yes. Don't you love that? And I'm telling you, sometimes people leave out guys. Guys are the best Scentsy people. I mean, they know what they like. And I only have one guy on my team. And I'm like, Scott, you can never quit on me because he's such a breath of fresh air. All right, guys. Do y'all have any other questions? Yeah, Karen, you said you can do big things with little pockets of time when you use them consistently. Yeah.
This was super great. Thank you so much. I took
You're
notes.
welcome.
The margins analogy like totally spoke to me. So
Good.
that was awesome. Awesome.
Thanks.
We'll give you guys one more second or two to drop questions if you have them. And I think, as you know, I've been pretty absent the last few weeks. But I think we have Steffi next week talking about social media. So we have Ascend Lounge tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, book club after that. And thank you, Billy. You were amazing. I appreciate you giving up your time. I know it's precious. So thanks, guys.
Thank you. Love y'all.
We'll see you next week.
Have a good night.
You too.